You ain't fooling me. Oh, you nasty.
So hey there guys, Erin here again. It's been a little while and I apologize for that, but I just had the perfect storm of tragedy within your life, inclement weather, which is a stupid excuse, but that's very true, and stress. Just intense amounts of stress to the point where I had to triage my life. I needed to do that in order to get through kind of what has occurred in the past week within my life. So I'm over it now and we're gonna get back on track here. So another what I eat in a day video. So far today I've had my coffee, which has been going good. I don't really feel like I'm starving in the mornings, but I do feel like I am more hungry at lunchtime and that I'm eating my lunch a little bit earlier than I was before. How has the just doing kind of more strict intermittent fasting versus having fat in my coffee, how is that going? I'm not losing weight faster than I was before by having a shorter window of time that I'm eating. I'm not finding that having changed that has had a positive or negative effect on me. I'll continue to try this for the remainder of January, but for the most part, I'm honestly not seeing any difference. So it is almost lunchtime, so I'm gonna go ahead and make my lunch here pretty soon. I am somewhere between an omelet and something else. I don't know, maybe, I think I want an omelet. It's Saturday. I think I want an omelet. We'll see. So 100%, I cannot flip this and hold this camera. So, show you after it's flipped. Fail! It's still gonna taste good, so. Yeah. Okay, this is what we ended up with for lunch. This is a very oily, but that's the way I try to get more fat into meals like this. Kind of omelet, and sometimes it turns out really good, sometimes it doesn't. This right up here is just the melted cheese, so it's not like raw egg or anything like that, but it is thoroughly cooked. But as you can see, we've got our tasty avocado oil, which is really good, and it's good, healthy, clean oil to have on keto, and it's my favorite oil to have on keto because you can cook it at high heats and you can cook it at lower heats and kind of create things like this. So this is going to be the bulk of my lunch. If I eat anything more than this, I will let you know, but I've got about a cup and a half of spinach, one small portobello mushroom, baby portobello, or I guess that'd be a large baby portobello, but chopped up. And then the cheese I'm using is goat's cheese because I am pretty much completely cow dairy free. So yeah, this is my keto lunch for today. Okay, so I really want to eat this right now, but I get this question a lot, and that is, how do I add more fat to my meals? I'm having a hard time getting in enough fats. So if you're hungry and you're trying to add fats in, a good way to do it is to do what I like to do, which is use your oil or whatever fat source you're cooking with, and then dump that onto your plate. And then as you eat your bites, cut them up, dip them into the oil, and eat it that way. It's just a good way to get your fats in. You do want to make sure that your fats are coming from good, clean fat sources. So the top 5 sources for fat, well, top 6 sources for fat on keto would be butter, ghee, olive oil, coconut oil, avocado oil, and lard or tallow, whatever you want to call it, which is just the fat from the animal. I'm going to go enjoy my lunch and get on with my day. I will show you guys what I end up making for dinner. I am going to be using my Instapot and making a Instapot or Instant Pot. I don't know why I want to call it Instapot. I think it's because of Instagram. But an Instant Pot keto stew. So I'm gonna make that for dinner tonight, and so I'm gonna go enjoy this. If I eat anything between now and then, I will let you guys know. So it's about an hour and a half later, and I'm having 1/2 of a Mikey's muffin with about a tablespoon of peanut butter. So I've tried these a few times. These are these Mikey's brand muffins. They are certified paleo, gluten-free, grain-free, dairy-free, soy-free, and non-GMO. They have a very strong egg taste. So if you find that unpleasant, these are not for you. I don't find it unpleasant. At the end of the day, I'd rather make my own bread and I'd rather make my own muffins. So that's kind of how I feel about them. 4-carb treat. 4-net carb treat anyway. So I'm gonna go enjoy this and then get on with my day. So it's now time for me to get ready to make dinner. Like I said, I'm gonna make keto kind of stew soup. I've got some turkey and I've got a turkey bone broth and then a beef bone broth that I made, and I'm gonna mix the two together in order to make the stock. I do make my own bone broth, and I do it pretty simply with just basically the bones, water, and then probably onion, and then sometimes celery. So I'm going to be adding in a few kind of vegetable ingredients, but not a ton. It's mainly going to be kind of beef soup, I guess, really not stew, because I'm not adding in anything that's going to make it too stewy. But it'll be good, and it'll be something tasty to have on a very cold day. It's like 5 degrees out right now and it's very chilly, so something good to have on a colder winter day. And I just want to say that if you don't have an Instant Pot, don't feel like you can't make this recipe. You could do it in a crock pot. If you do it on low heat, you'd want to cook it for about 7.5 to 8 hours. If you do it on high heat, you could probably get away with 5.5 to maybe 5 hours, depending on the cuts of meat and the amount of meat that you're using in the stew. So you can use a crock pot, you can use an Instant Pot. I'm trying to use my Instant Pot more, so that's what I'm working with. Alright, so to make this, I do use some kind of cut and chopped up stew meat. So this is just some grass-fed stew meat that I bought at the store. It's 10 ounces. I've got my Instant Pot on. I'm using the meat stew setting at high pressure for the normal amount of time. It takes about 10 minutes for this to preheat, and then it's about a 35-minute cook time in total. So while it's kind of preheating, I'm dumping in my 4 cups of bone broth. So that's 2 of the turkey, 2 of the beef broth, and then I'm also dumping in about 4 stalks of celery cut up, and then about 3 ounces of onion, as well as some onion powder, garlic powder, black pepper, and salt. And then I just allowed it to go through its cook time, and like I said, it takes about 10 minutes to preheat and about 35 minutes in total to cook. So when it was all done, I let my Instant Pot get the steam out, and then once all the steam was out and it was safe to open the Instant Pot, I opened it and then added in some chopped kale. So this is just some dino kale. It's about 4 total leaves, and I just destemmed it and then chopped it into thin slices and then threw it in there. Because this soup is already so hot, you don't need to put the kale in while it's cooking. It will, over wilt. So I just toss it in while the soup is still steamy and hot. And then I just portioned everything out between the 2 bowls. So this is enough soup for my husband and myself. And like I said before, it's a very kind of hearty meal. The bone broth that I make, I leave the fat from the bone broth in, so I'm getting that extra fat in this meal, and that's just going to keep me full and sustained. Another really great day of eating. I'm full and sustained. I'm gonna go work out now and go enjoy the rest of my evening. Put my macros up here for the day, but as you can see, a pretty good overall day of eating, and I get asked a lot about my total carbs, and as you can see, even though I eat a lot of vegetables or I put a lot of vegetables into my foods, I am still having a total carb that is pretty low, and when you subtract the fiber, my net carbs are well below 20. So I have no concerns about myself staying in keto and doing it in a health and vegetable kind of focused at times way. And so I hope you guys enjoyed this video and it gave you a few good ideas for meals that you can eat on keto and just different options, and how to maybe get some extra fat in there if that is something that you're concerned about. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, go ahead, give it a thumbs up. Otherwise, I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.